Hey, coming at you from a bunker deep beneath Alcatraz. This is Rage Across the Internet, a Werewolf the Apocalypse podcast. As always, I'm your host, Porter. Alongside me here today is producer Joey.
Hey guys.
And also sitting with us in studio is Jessica.
Hello.
How are we doing today?
We're doing great. We're having a good day.
Yeah, it has been a pretty good day.
I'm going to agree, and that's super weird.
Yeah, you're normally the pessimist.
Everything sucks. Is that better?
There you go.
All right.
It's more realistic.
So what we're talking about today in our second episode is the Golden Rule. A lofty topic, certainly. Or a really small one, and why are we making a show about it? We'll tell you.
Okay, why don't you tell us what the golden rule is for the people out there who may not know or may not understand it?
Well, I wanted to hand that to you, so how dare you? The Golden Rule is simply enough, if you do not like the rule, change it. You know, it states that the story is more important than the rules, and that you shouldn't be held back by the rules. Run the game. If something's not working for you, you can fix that.
Okay. So to my understanding, the golden rule is one of the core tenets of this, game universe.
Yeah, not just through Werewolf, but through all of the World of Darkness games.
Yeah. And I think it lends to make the games more playable.
I think that's certain. I'm not an expert, at least insofar as that, I don't know what a game looks like that I'm not in. But, I can't think of an example that I've even heard of where a group didn't use the Golden Rule somehow.
Right. I don't think there's a game out there. I could be wrong. And dear listeners, please let us know if we are wrong. But I think that everybody has to tweak something at some point.
Well, I know, for example, Jessica, your boyfriend, their group,
Mm-hmm.
they do something weird with their dice, right?
They use different dice than we do.
Wait a minute. So what are they using?
Ours are 1 or 0 through 9.
Yep.
Theirs are
Standard D10s.
double 0 through 90.
So do they just knock off that extra 0?
I'm not sure. I haven't actually sat in on a game yet.
You need to take notes and get back to us. Inquiring minds want to know.
I swear to God, that's going to end up being an episode. We're hyping it up so much. 45 minutes at the time she sat in on a game that wasn't ours.
I mean, I don't know. Much like you, I don't know how a game that I'm not part of works.
Which is a weird sentence all by itself, right?
Right, it is a strange, because of course, why would I know how a game that I'm not part of works? Why would I be...
I don't have that power.
I'm not in the game, so why would I know anything about it? But, it's a weird opportunity, and I'm excited to potentially have it, provided we can get the schedules to line up.
And our whole group is hoping for that to happen. Everyone is so damn curious.
We are all like, we will schedule for you. It's okay. We'll make it
so
happen.
Difficult between our schedules, our gaming schedule, both of our personal lives. It's...
Personal lives.
This Werewolf isn't the only game that they play.
Yeah.
So.
There are other games?
I don't know. Some people are weird like that.
That is weird. But hey, the Golden Rule.
Yes.
Why does it suck?
Oh, I would say that one of the shortcomings, one of the sucky parts of it, is from one storyteller to the next, you're not sure how the game is exactly going to work. When I came into your game, you do this odd thing where extra successes on a hit roll add to the damage roll. And that was completely foreign to me.
Which is funny, because that is in the book.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, then my storyteller was golden ruling it the other way.
And, again, everybody does somehow. I think most storytellers, and again, I don't know this, but I think most golden rule the shit out of combat in one way or the other.
Oh, yeah.
I know in my early years, and this is another great example of the golden rule sucks, is in my early years as a storyteller, I rolled all of the dice.
Which sounds just like a headache for you.
It was terrible. But it was either our original storyteller, back when we were all like 13, didn't trust the players, so rolled all the dice, so that's what I was doing. And then a little bit of I took over and didn't trust the players. I mean, it was so long ago.
I don't
But
know how I feel about didn't trust the players.
14-year-old boys.
Well, and so looking at it that way, I get it. But like, you should trust your players. That's your fucking pack. You should trust these people.
You're right. I mean, no other way around it. You're correct.
But I think 14-year-old boys will trip one of their friends just to laugh.
There's a level of honesty
Yeah,
in that.
no, that's probably true.
Or you'd get stuff like, oh, these are just practice rolls. And, oh, well, I rolled to save time earlier.
Yeah.
Well, that was weird because you were practice rolling until it came up like 8 tens.
That's strange.
It's crazy. But so I would do all the rolls. And that's cumbersome to say the least. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
So I would start to shorthand it. So, you're doing your dex mal, let's call that an 8. And I'll roll the 8 dice, and, okay, it's a 10, 2, 3 10s. So I'm going to translate that into damage, just immediately cut out all the middleman. There's no damage roll.
Oh.
And that's just what that is. Now, I said earlier that, this is an example of the golden rule sucking because I was allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And I did that for years. Because it was just the way it was done. And I'd try to tweak it a bit because, again, it was about streamlining at that point. And so one of my players, years later, looks at me and he goes, well, I'm creating this character, and it's an established character. So, he's going to get a couple fetishes.
Right.
And he's like, wow, it just doesn't make sense to get anything but a clave. I'm like, well, you're not going to get a clave. Fuck you. And he goes, but since we don't roll damage, all that matters is it's unsoakable.
Oh. Okay.
And the light bulb turned on, and you were like, oh shit, hold on.
And I never did it again.
Yeah. No, that's a great example of how it can be awful.
Yep. There's a lot of good there. I mean, to this day, as you guys know, I golden rule combat.
Mm-hmm.
For a different purpose, for a different reason. And, what I do now, because I should probably let everyone else in on that. What I do now is I allow you guys, I allow the players to roll, to use Gnosis and Rage and Willpower in the same turn if they want to. And I know that's not in the book. It says you can't do that. But I do that to give you guys more creative freedom when you're taking your turns. To let your imaginations go nuts. And if you want to do the cool action thing, you can do it.
Yeah. It definitely has helped my character do the cool action things.
Right.
That's true. We'll be sitting in combat, and Joey's going, all right, so I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and one of the, then like the rest of us are going, I'm sorry, what are you doing over there?
It honestly, my notebook kind of looks a little bit like algebra.
Yeah. No, that's true. It does. I'm going to spend 2 rage
and a Gnosis, and I'm gonna activate my armor, and I'm gonna do a flippy doodle.
Yeah.
And,
oh man, I hope you use the term flippy doodle next game.
Oh, I so am.
I also tweak dice pools, but whatever. Another great example, like Jessica, how many times have you rushed to a pack mate and used Mother's Touch?
Like once a combat.
At least.
Yeah,
where you wouldn't be allowed to, strictly by the book.
Right, because you're rushing to that person.
You spent
Okay, well,
your
your turn's over.
Yep, you
That's
got
the end.
there because it was too far away,
Good
so
job.
you got there.
They're just bleeding out now. It's cool.
Yep, hope they don't get hit again.
Right.
In the next fucking wave.
Right, and sometimes we've got 8 or 10
Whatever's
that we're whatever we're fighting. So it could be a while until it comes back. So your packmate might be dead. Good luck.
Too bad. And I don't like too bad as an answer.
No.
Largely,
it's much like when we're watching a movie and why did that happen? It's in the script. It's a bullshit cop-out answer.
Yep. So I mean, look, I use the golden rule also. But, I think what we're doing today is we're talking about, I don't know our opinions of the golden rule, but times when maybe it's not such a good idea to fuck with a thing.
Yeah.
And maybe times when, hey, go for it.
I mean, I've played in games where, due to certain circumstances, the game would have been unplayable unless, so the golden rule was very much our best friend. So,
Hit us with some knowledge. What's happening?
Okay.
Why can't I talk?
so
Did he rub off on you?
Gross.
no
Phrasing.
phrasing. We at one point had this player who was so into the game. He wanted to be part of the crew. He wanted to be part of the pack. Wanted. Like, his heart and soul was in it.
Mm-hmm.
The problem was he didn't have much of a brain.
Oh. Well, that's an issue.
Yeah, and so, like, hey, I'm gonna set off this silver hand grenade in an armored limo with my whole pack inside of it.
I'm sorry, what?
Exactly. Now, yeah, you see how this works.
I don't
Like
see how this works.
I'm doing the math that it equals what?
So, actual thing that happened.
All right.
It actually happened, or like he voiced that he wanted to do this and somebody stopped him because that's the right thing to do?
Well,
Uh-oh.
thank goodness the golden rule existed and our storyteller had created, because this was not our first game with this gentleman, our storyteller had actually created a fictitious merit of storyteller intervention, where the storyteller could stop, pull the player aside, explain why his proposed actions were a bad idea, and block him from doing it. So,
If we had someone like that in our game, I would certainly hope that you would golden rule some of their stupidity.
and so, yeah.
Well, how has the game been working for you?
So yeah, that action, it sort of went off, but not really, and not to the extent that the player wanted it to, and it was a bad scene all around, but it could have been a whole lot worse. We're talking like complete game wipe. But thankfully we had the fictitious merit. And that wasn't the only time it was used. It was used pretty much every game with that one player.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. He wanted so badly to be part of the game, but just bad idea after bad idea.
Okay.
That's yikes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's certain. I don't know how to say it better.
I know.
And I think it's something we could talk about that. We can make an episode around that. And that might be the future also of those players.
Bad
or even
idea.
the storyteller.
Bad idea, worse idea?
Yeah, maybe. Of the what do we do about this guy? That can be an episode. That's the future, everybody. You heard it here first.
But the golden rule allowed us as a group of people to accept this person into our game and not allow him to derail our game, and to make him part of the fun and not to make fun of him.
And that's a much better answer than cracking wise like maybe we're doing here. But so excellent. It's hard to talk about this.
It is a muddy topic.
It is, because storyteller discretion's a real thing.
Yep.
And you have to be able to trust a storyteller, hopefully, to take you where you need to go.
Yes.
So there's a point to you go, well, who the fuck are you to sit here and talk about what should and shouldn't happen?
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's also the integrity of the game that should always be looked out for. You should always keep that as a factor.
Right. I think that the integrity of the game is the penultimate goal. Like, we as players are working to have a good game. You are working to write a good game. And we're all looking to experience a good game.
And have fun while we're doing it.
Right. And that's first.
Yeah.
But right under it.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it could be used just so lazily.
Yeah, yeah.
In ways that it can avoid.
Damage rolls?
I'll take it.
You didn't
Like,
know
hop
any
to
better.
it.
You didn't know any better, really, is the thing. Like, that's
It-
how you were, quote unquote, taught.
Kind of, yeah. Like I'm not gonna absolve myself of responsibility on it. And I got better at determining, but it was still wrong, and it was
Right.
still shitty, and I shouldn't have done it. And thank fuck for that player who pointed it out one day, and he wasn't even doing it to bust my balls. He didn't have a problem with the system because that's how he was taught the system.
Right.
He had never played before. But then he points that out, and I didn't realize the damage, and that's the point, the damage I was doing to my game.
Was
By golden ruling something that really didn't need it.
Right. Tweak a system, absolutely. Rewrite the book, maybe stop.
And I mean, I think when you golden rule it to have, the Anansi hanging out with the Naga, hanging out with the Bastet, that kind of thing, that's when it can really get into Cartoon Town.
And it's not that I was trying to avoid this. It's just I feel very strongly we're to take shit for it, and that's fine. Because I agree with you. I know, and I know. I remember when those breed books used to come out in second edition, and we'd go to, the local hobby store or the bookstore. We'd pick up that brand new book, and everyone would flip through it, and all of a sudden everyone made a girl.
Yes. Yes.
Because how cool they are.
Right.
Those characters weren't played.
So we just made one because this is cool to do?
Right.
Okay.
And I can think of 3 of those characters that ever saw the light of day in any form.
Okay.
Be that a one-off or a guest spot.
But we were buying the books and reading them and test making the characters because it was fun and it was cool
Right,
and it
just
was
being
new.
exciting.
Yeah.
It was new and it was shiny.
Yeah. Oh, the new Wisha, look, they have a thing on their character sheet that says pants.
And what do you
I'm
put
sorry,
there?
what?
That's
yeah,
true.
It is true. It says pants.
Yeah, up top where it's breed, auspice, tribe, and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a pants section.
Like, are you wearing, or what kind are they?
Whatever.
That's up to you. It just says pants. Fill in the blank, yo.
What?
But there you go. How fun is this? And it's a different perspective and different tools and different toys to play with. And it's so everybody gets that.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna integrate, I think it needs to be in service of the game, of the setting. I think, and again, maybe I'm gonna take shit for this. Fine. If you want to play a Khan or you want to play a Simba, you want your best at because you love cats and cats are cool. I already don't love that reason. Because something's cool to me is never a good enough reason.
Right. Right.
But fuck it, we'll go with it, right? You want to play that Simba. I want to, hooray. I'm a were-lion. My name's Mufasta, and I'm a were-lion.
But we should have to sell you on that.
And really sell me. Because I think to put that character in a pack of Garu, and to say, oh, well, they're friends and they work out of this cairn.
No.
But why do they work out of this cairn?
Right. I think that cheapens the rivalry between the breeds. I think that cheapens the War of Rage. I think it belittles all this history and tension and crappy things that happen as part of the game. I think if you want to play that character, earn it. And earn it within the setting that was brought on. I think in a case like that, golden ruling and saying everything's fine is taking the easy way out.
Yeah, and I agree that it's cheapening all of the horrible history that has been passed down, and just making a mockery of it.
Yeah, it's hey, we're Spider. I know that we all think you're evil, and we also kind of semi-genocided your people, but let's be friends.
No.
Exactly.
I feel like that's not going to work.
Yeah, but I mean, it could. There's the golden rule.
Right. And if you can make it work for your group of people, awesome. More power to you. Have fun with that. As long as everybody's enjoying playing the game.
And again, that is that's paramount.
Right. I just don't see it working for us.
No.
Oh, no, never.
No.
And it's that, yeah, you can do it. You can golden rule the problem away. But
Should you?
no, I don't think you should. You know, if you want to do it, find a way to make it work. And here's the thing, your game will be better for it. For going through the extra hoops and the problems of, okay, well, he's our friend and now we're conflicted because of these, you know, these old rivalries, and the fact that you got a past life whispering in your ear, kill that fucking thing, are you crazy? The fact that you can't take him to the cairn because he will be murdered on sight, you know, or the fact that, hey, put on this perfume because you smell like a Bastet because you've been drinking with them all day.
Oh, I like that. I like that little nugget.
You know, it's the little things, and so you can still have your cake here, you know, but maybe work within the lines. You're gonna get more depth that way. Then it's just easier to not worry about it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm the asshole here. I don't know.
No, and I think that putting in that little bit of extra work, and maybe sometimes it's a lot of extra work, you know, because I don't see a world where the Rokia is going to team up with, you know, anyone.
What do you think, Jessica? Would be
Yeah.
a were-shark?
No. I mean, also, how?
They're jawsome. What are you talking? You don't want it?
But
No.
They're
Gonna kick some
jawsome.
fin?
Jawsome?
Jawsome.
I see.
Street sharks, man.
Yeah.
Kick some fin.
What are you doing in the woods, Were Shark? How did you, what's happening here?
And the answer is like flop around because I've been a shark for him and I can't breathe.
Right. So, like, how is that helpful to anybody?
But, I mean,
Spoiler, it's not.
Rokia suck.
And that's not even the point here. Like, if you want to have a whole game of Were Sharks, by all means, just
Play your game of were-sharks, yeah.
your game is all in the ocean, so have fun with that. And I don't. That's a different topic, but what? Porter has this quizzical look on his face.
I'm just envisioning a chronicle surrounded with surf ninjas.
Oh, boy.
ooh,
The point is, though, no. I also, like, how many things do you have to know about these other types of creatures? I'm having a hard enough time memorizing all of the Garu things.
I mean, there's less things, but yeah, no. I get you.
I don't see it working for our group. Again, if it works for your group, by all means, golden rule the shit out of it. But it's not for us.
And, I mean, I think the golden rule has its place. I think it can make games run faster, easier, questionably better. You know, it's one of those things. Like, we had this one player who liked to split his dice pool of like 19 or 20 dice. How he got that many, don't ask me. I don't know. But he would split his dice pool into individual dice. So it was like, okay, here we go. It's his turn. We're going to go down the street and get some food, and we'll be back.
What did it take, like 45 minutes for his turn?
Yeah. And it would...
Why would...
Yeah.
Individual dice. Why would you do that?
Well, because he had a lot of actions and a lot of dice and a lot of damage. And yeah, it was nasty.
That seems unnecessary.
Totally.
And honestly, kind of selfish.
Nice.
Okay. I
No,
like
Like,
that.
why do you want to
Yeah.
take up 45 minutes of the group's time so you can roll a dice individually 35 times? Like, why?
I don't know, and it literally got to the point where we would just say, okay, we'll be back in a little bit. And we would miss, like, huge chunks.
And now speaking as a storyteller, that's a goddamn nightmare.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, the idea, all right, that anyone in my group felt like they could get up and just fuck off for a half hour, and that would be cool. That's offensive to me.
I feel like you'd straight up murder us.
Like I'm not pointing fingers at like you
Right,
guys for
right.
taking off, but at the scenario that was created, where that was a reasonable option.
Yeah.
You know,
Both of those things. That it was a reasonable option to be able to split your dice pool into 19 individual actions, and also that it was okay to get up and walk out in the middle of a game.
both of those,
Yeah.
yeah. You don't want to make a phone call in the middle of the game while you're at it? If I fucking dare you, by the way.
If someone is dying, fine, maybe. But beyond that.
No, and like, you know, okay, while he was having his 40-minute turn, yeah, I might have made a few phone calls, but, You know, I was down the street at the pizza parlor anyway, so who cares?
Right. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It really, really was.
You know.
And it took us out of the mood. It took us out of the game.
Yeah, it screws up the whole flow.
Yeah, it really did.
Which is where I'm coming from with that horrified and just flat out offended. That's for this guy's ego. Fuck all that.
You know, I think my top was 6 for my current player. I think it was either 5 or 6 current, actions in one turn.
You snuck that by me then.
Yeah, you don't usually let us do more than 3, do you?
Well, no, because one of them had a
Oh yeah,
triple.
That's a different thing.
Yeah, so
That was the crazy staff man.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
The multiple actions within one.
Yeah, it's okay. That's different.
But I also plan and plot and have everything, down to a science by the time it gets to me.
And I mean, that's something I'm kind of lucky with in terms of you guys, because I give you guys a lot of leeway with certain things like combat, where I stretch those rules to make it more fun, and let you guys just go nuts with your imaginations and get creative. And thankfully, I'm not saddled with a group that wants to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
That wants to roll those individual dice. That wants to, well, how could I do this where I can kill the big bad enemies all in one turn? Nobody here says that.
Because we know that's unrealistic.
And
oh my God. Yes, that's awesome.
And part of my character was, you guys need a badass protector. You guys need a heavy hitter.
Right.
You need someone who can do some damage, because it's a Philodox and a Thierge and a Ragabash.
And the Ragabash wasn't there for a while.
Right. So you guys, you were doing okay on your own, which was, shocking and awesome. Like, hey, it's like...
We're a little bit of we're a dumpster fire sometimes, and I'm totally okay admitting that.
Well, the group of first-timers, so frankly, I'm impressed that at no point, that very rarely, do I hear a combat action akin to, I'm going to throw a rock at him.
But I also love that, you say a Philodox and a Thierge walk into a battle with the worm. It sounds like the beginning of a joke.
Yeah, we're not Outhounds. So, we're not Ragabash.
But we're playing murder machines.
Right, and we're the least murder machine-y of the 5 options.
So, when I sat down and decided to play the Ahround, it was like, okay, I'm going to be a murder machine. And, one that can lay down some heavy damage. Mm-hmm. So that maybe you guys don't have to. You guys can take a little bit of a break. And your combat rules help with that immensely.
And I'm glad that it does. But hopefully it's not... And I mean, you guys are actually, Joe, I think you would be the judge at this point, having as much experience as you have. That my tweaks in combat for the Golden Rule aren't obtrusive to the game. They're not harmful to the game.
No, they're not. They make it run smoother.
And I think that's something, again, you have to keep in mind. I mean, going to the core of the matter, if you're going to use the Golden Rule. I think it's best to tweak a thing. Don't reinvent the wheel.
Right. And
the wheel is great. We love the wheel.
I think that storytellers should play the system as it's written first and find out where the hiccups are.
I 100% agree. I mean, I wish it was something that someone had told me when I started. When we hear this in other things like design or filmmaking, you need to know the rules to be able to break them.
Right.
Otherwise, it's just random chaos, and you're rolling for 6 people, and you're just going, I see a 1, you botched, because I don't, there's too many numbers here, fuck it.
I can't count.
I'm just tired of it. I've been rolling dice for 3 hours.
Oh gosh, yeah, if that was the only thing you were doing.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that sounds awful. I'm glad you don't roll for us.
Oh, so am I.
That would...
Especially since, he'd decide he was mad at us one day and be like, I'm going to use the Indian burial ground dice.
Oh, no, not those.
We do, in fact, have cursed dice.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think most groups have cursed dice. I don't remember now what Nick and his group call theirs, but they have dice that don't like most people as well.
I hope that's true. I hope that every group has a version of cursed or evil dice and they call it something different,
Well, write in and tell us what your cursed dice are called.
right? Do you have a set? Are they Indian Burial Ground dice? Are they Civil War dice? Are they
I don't know.
Any strange name.
were they made from Napoleon's bones? What happened? What is the story behind your cursed dice? I want to hear about it.
And I also like the fact that our Indian burial ground dice are punishment dice.
They are.
Yes. Yep.
So, like, if we forget our dice, we are forced to use the cursed dice.
Too bad.
And that's just our punishment for that game. And we won't forget our dice again.
Right. Right. I think I did forget my dice once and had to use them, and like they treated me okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
But I think it was like, okay, well, here's your freebie, guys.
Everybody see what's happening. We only get the one.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't make that mistake again.
Right. It's like, don't practice roll. Don't do it.
You know, but I mean, the golden rule that is something that can absolutely be abused, and I can think of a scenario, and I don't know if it's fair to call this golden rule abuse or storyteller malpractice.
I kind of like that term. What do you have?
I played in a game. This was I was taking a break as a storyteller,
Ooh, this is going to be a good one.
and you know, we had a group of 4 people.
Okay.
Including storyteller. So
Okay.
it's, you know, it's a cozy little group. And we were doing these tribal one-off stories, you know, where everyone would roll a one-off character. Like you had the guy in the pack was a Get a Fenris.
Okay.
So everyone else in the group made a Get a Fenris for
Okay.
one story. And the idea was to give an idea of what a character was doing between a time jump, and B, to give the rest of the players a better insight to that tribe.
I kind of like that.
I do too. I think that would be neat.
It was definitely cool. And we were doing a Wendigo story
Okay.
that was taking place during the colonization, you know, the American colonization. And so we had our characters, and we're watching this colony of Fianna and Get a Fenris, and you know, they're encroaching on our territory, so we're go fuck them up. You know, we run into a pack of, I think it was 5 out in the woods, you know, just kind of patrolling. So we got the drop on them. It's night. We're like, well, get the fuck off our land. So we're gonna attack.
Okay.
We've got the drop on them. We've got the forest on our side. We've got the initiative, and so we lay out our attack. And you know, like my character in particular, he's got camouflage. He's kneeled up in a tree. He's got his bow primed ready. He takes his shot. We roll the dice, and I fuck up one of his characters like immediately. It's like a beautiful
Okay.
roll. Hooray for me. The storyteller stops. He says, wait, no.
What?
The dice have been cast.
What do you mean, no?
Right. He gets up. He goes to my shelf. Grabs a book. Flips through it to find the gift he wants.
That he didn't already say that this person had?
Well, moreover, it was a gift from a hidden camp of Get a Fenris.
Oh.
So already, we're,
Ooh, dangerous territory.
right? Comes back down and says, nope, none of that happened. We're redoing it. This character suddenly had Spirit of the Fray, and he's going first.
Nope.
And he's running to you.
Because he didn't even see you, so no.
Right. Doesn't know we're there, let alone where I am. I'm harder to see with the camouflage. Says he's going to run up to you and use this gift, which puts me in a laughing fit for the rest of this scene.
Nope, fuck you. That's absolutely not appropriate.
Lost a player that game, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I'm surprised it was only one.
Right? You
Because
know?
that is some bullshit.
We had a player never come back after that. And you don't blame him.
No.
You know, and at the time, you know, he was looking to me because he was a newer storyteller. So he was looking to me for advice, and, you know, I kept my mouth shut till everybody left. I wrote him the riot act.
Yeah.
As you should have.
Yeah.
But again, so I don't know if we want to call that storyteller malpractice or...
I would call that malpractice 100%, yeah.
Or golden rule abuse. Maybe a little A, little B. I don't know what, but...
Yeah, that's...
B, or well, A as a result of B?
No, that's awful.
Yeah, like, are you kidding?
No,
That's-
that sounds like a surefire way to lose players.
Right. And, so now there's somebody out there who used to play Werewolf who really loved the game who doesn't anymore because one time someone did something shitty. So you gotta be careful.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that person maybe found another group.
Yeah, hopefully.
People that aren't dumb.
Hopefully, who knows? But again, whether we call that, it's a way that the golden rule can be abused and shouldn't be. And I think what it comes down to, again, as we've said it before, is the integrity of the game.
Right. I think if you're going to use the golden rule, and let's face it, you are going to use the golden rule.
You are.
For one thing or another.
Major or minor, I think use it with discretion. And bear in mind even the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
That's true too, yeah. You change one thing, what else are you actually changing?
And it's not always apparent. So if you're going to do something sweeping, take a step back and think about it before you give it to your players.
Right.
I don't like this tribe, so I'm removing them.
Ooh.
Whoa.
For example.
Yeah, that's a golden rule.
I don't understand the Red Talons, so they're just all extinct. Or we're in the future, so the Red Talons are gone, for example. That is sweeping fucking repercussions. Think about it first.
Oh my gosh. That's wow. I have to think about that.
I don't think I can actually grasp removing an entire group of people.
It's nap time, everybody. Nap's over. Get up.
How it feels some nights when the alarm goes off to get up in the morning.
But yeah, I think really, again, it comes down to maybe small tweaks. Don't reinvent the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
The systems are there, and yeah, you have every right under the golden rule to change whatever you want, to tweak it. Maybe, I'm talking to my fellow storytellers here, maybe it's better to find the long way around. Maybe it's better to work out those hoops about how you guys are hanging out with the best at and not getting crucified than to just say no one cares.
Yeah. And I think it'll give more depth and more meaning to the story. And I think it'll matter more to the players when shit eventually goes wrong. Because it will go wrong.
Absolutely it will.
You're suddenly put in a place to defend that person because the rest of the nation is not okay with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they shouldn't be.
They certainly shouldn't be. Or maybe they should be, but the fact that they're not is part of what makes the game great.
Well, yeah.
But that's the time we have for today. We'd love to hear what you think. It's a bigger topic and it's a muddy topic and we get it. So, write in, tell us where you stand on it, and you can get us at rageacrossthepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook at Rage Across the Internet. And hey, while you're there, drop a like, maybe make a comment, everything's good. When you tell your friends about this podcast and how much they should listen to it, you can tell them that you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and our website, which is rageacrosstheinternet.buzzsprout.com.
Also, Twitter.
Yes, also Twitter, which is at RageAcross. We want to thank you for stopping by and indulging us on this one. Next week we got something really interesting for you. Spoiler alert, we recorded it first. It's going to be a fun time. You guys, you don't want to miss it. So thanks again, everybody. Thank you for your support. Be excellent to each other, and we'll see you next time.
Rage Across the Internet's music is It's Into the Fog by Darren Curtis, shared with a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 unported license. For details, check out the information under the podcast.